Welcome to another 10-minute episode of Everything Sports with Aman and Evan. I'm your host, Evan Garber. And today, we got kind of just a ramble. Of course, spring training. Officially, the games start today as the Padres and Dodgers will face off. Um, they are the first two teams as they will be playing in, I believe, of South Korea um, in just about a month or so, week before opening day for the rest of the teams. But they're the first teams to get underway with more action, of course, coming tomorrow. Um, and then most teams will start their preseason, their spring training games on Saturday, that is. So we just got a lot of news today, and I just want to ramble about some of the stuff that happened today, as well as the game that we will see in just a couple hours between the Dodgers and the Padres. But starting off, first news of the day, we got Mitch Keller agreeing to a 5-year, $77 million extension with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Um, Mitch Keller was an All-Star last year. He had a pretty decent season. 13-9 record, a 4.21 ERA, 1.245 WHIP, 105 ERA plus, and a 3.80 FIP. He's one of the brighter pieces of that Pirates team last season. Of course, they were not very good, but having him locked up now, and then hopefully Paul Skeens we will see at some point this season. So Paul Skeens and Mitch Keller as a duo. I know that's a pretty solid duo. Now I would say Mitch Keller is probably more of a middle of the rotation guy rather than top end rotation guy, but he has some good stuff. He has a good fastball, but he definitely would benefit from a much better defense than the Pirates did have that season. Of course, you can see that in the FIP. In the FIP, he's lower than his ERA, so definitely would benefit a lot more from great defense. And of course, having O'Neal Cruz back this season will be very, very big for them. Should help his numbers a decent amount. I'm not saying he's gonna be a 2 ERA guy or anything like that, but definitely should be closer to somewhere in the 3 range, I would guess. And then we got Tim Anderson agreeing to a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Marlins. Now, yes, Tim Anderson definitely fell off last season. He's dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. I think that's really what caused him to have such a down season. He had a nagging knee injury last season that just made it completely fall off. His speed definitely decreased a ton, which is a big part of his game as he doesn't walk a whole lot, and he chases a ton, but he makes a lot of contact, and that's really where the speed comes in. He makes a lot of contact, doesn't hit barrels or anything like that, but he was able to get on base. He's able to get singles, make things happen on the base pass, and that's what made him so valuable. His sprint speed has now found off from the 79th percentile in 2022. It's now the 46 in 2023, and also he's been a much worse defender. He's now at a -2 outs above average last season. He's completely fallen off, but I mean, yeah, maybe if he is able to stay healthy this season, then I think this could be a very good deal for both sides. Now, I think it already is a pretty good deal for both sides as it is a cheap 1-year deal, and Tim Anderson now gets a chance to prove himself, to prove that he still belongs in this league because last season he was one of the worst players in all of baseball. So now he gets a chance on a 1-year deal to reset his market value, and go out and chase that bag next offseason possibly. And the Marlins, they get a guy who, if he's healthy, can be a good player. Like I said, if he can get that speed back up, if he can stay healthy and get that speed back up, he's definitely going to be a solid player. I'm not saying he's going to bounce back and hit 300 again. I'm not saying he's going to bounce back and be an MVP candidate or anything like that, but he can be a very, very solid player for just $5 million if he can, in fact, stay healthy this season and hopefully get that speed back up a little bit, just a tad at least, because that's a big part of his game. But another big news that we got today is Kodai Senga. He's expected to start the season on the IL with a right shoulder strain. That's a massive loss for the New York Mets. The pitching staff right now is not that great. They didn't really get anybody big this offseason. So not exactly sure what's going on over there. Of course, last season they struggled a ton. Of course, they had those injuries to DeGrom, or yeah, it was DeGrom and Scherzer, I believe it was. But moved on from them, and now you left with Kodai Senga at top of your rotation. But now he's gone, and that leaves, I don't even know who that leaves the top rotation. Like, the rotation is not very strong for the New York Mets now. Um, of course, we know what Kodai Senga is. All-Star last season, second in Rookie of the Year, seventh in Cy Young, 12-7 record, 2.98 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, 142 ERA plus, and a 3.63 FIP. Now, we could go see the Mets swing for Montgomery or Snell now that Kodai Senga is out for the beginning of the season, but I don't know. I'm not sure, because that whole thing with those Boras clients is just holding everything off, and they're asking for a ton of money. I don't know uh, if you're Steve Cohen and you go and drop that money, knowing that it might not be worth it, which is really what's holding teams back. They don't think it's worth the big bag that they're chasing after. And I don't really think you're in a win now position if you're the New York Mets. You're in a really weird position right now. You're not going to win the division, of course. And vying for a playoff spot now is going to be tough with very little pitching in the first place. I mean, yeah, if you get Kodai Senga and Snell or something like that, Kodai Senga and Montgomery, then you can consider them maybe as a playoff team. But even then, I wouldn't say that they're that great of a team. The offense, of course, is still pretty good, but pitching-wise, it's not looking great for them. Edwin Diaz being back will be big for them for sure, but starting pitching is lacking a ton, so I don't think it's worth it for them to go swing for Montgomery or Snell. I think they need to try to build some more from the farm system and build up that way. But moving on to the final thing, got Dodgers and Padres finally playing spring training baseball today. The first game of spring training for 2024 MLB season. Now, we will see a couple debuts in this game. We will see the debut of Padres' new double play combo of Ha-Seong Kim and Xander Bogaerts, which, of course, if Ha-Seong Kim can keep going from what he did last season, then it's going to be a pretty good duo. I mean, both are really, really good, pretty good defensively, but hitting as well. Ha-Seong Kim finally seems to have found his stride, and Xander Bogaerts, of course, we know what Xander Bogaerts can do. So, going to be a deadly duo debuting for the San Diego Padres. And then in terms of the Dodgers, their debut, of course, Teoscar Hernandez. We will not see Shohei Ohtani today, but Shohei Ohtani will face off against Yoshinobu Yamamoto today in a live BP. So that'll be fun to see for sure, but we won't see them playing today, I don't believe. Of course, Teoscar Hernandez, one of the bigger pickups for the Dodgers this offseason, of course, behind Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani, but we'll see what he provides to that team. I mean, we already know that they're a very, very good team despite Teoscar Hernandez, but you add Teoscar Hernandez into the lineup, and that lineup just looks 10 times more scary. I mean, not 10 times more scary, but it looks a lot scarier than it already does. So we'll see what Teoscar can do. And in terms of prospects, there's going to be a lot of prospects that we can see in this game or in this series. The Padres, they have 4 top 100 prospects that they invited to camp for the Padres for this spring training. Those being 17-year-old catcher Ethan Salas, who is 8th in MLB in top 100 prospects. Shortstop Jackson Merrill, who's ranked 12th. Left-handed pitcher Robbie Snelling, who ranks 36th, and right-handed pitcher Drew Thorpe, who ranks 85th. Drew Thorpe, of course, coming from the Yankees in the Juan Soto trade. So, could see a lot of guys debut in this series, or make some appearances in this series. The future of the Padres could be coming sooner rather than later, even despite trading despite trading Juan Soto. Got some great prospects coming up soon who could make a big impact. Maybe even this year, if not next year for sure. But this Padres team, I wouldn't sleep on them, even though yes, they are down season last season. They have some good prospects, and of course, they still have Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, and Juan Soto, so they could have a great season this season. In terms of the Dodgers, their prospects, they got one who's a non-roster invitee, that being catcher slash first baseman Dalton Rushing, who ranks 75th. And then their one on the roster is Nick Frasso, who ranks 80th, right-handed pitcher, who was protected from the Rule 5 draft and added to the roster ahead of that draft. So we'll see what we get from those guys. Should be a lot of fun. Baseball is finally back, but let me know what you guys' thoughts on these news today. Tim Anderson, Mitch Keller, and Kodai Senga, and I'm happy baseball is finally back. Make sure to tune in Saturday for the long episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.